Welcome to Pharmacy Frontiers Podcast. I'm Daniel Good. I will serve as your co-host today along with Tim Mitchell. Today we're joined by Annie Eisenbeis and Ashley Stone from Missouri Pharmacy Association so we can talk about the coming 2024 MPA Annual Conference and Trade Show and how to get the most out of this great event. Welcome, Annie and Ashley.
Thank you so much, Daniel. We're really excited to be on your podcast.
So Ashley, this year the conference is in St. Louis on the last weekend in August of this year. Is that right? Where is the specific venue that we're going to be at?
It's going to be at Union Station in St. Louis.
And that's one of the brand new conference centers in downtown. Is that right?
I'm going to pass that over to Annie, who's the local expert of St. Louis.
So I'm from St. Louis too. So Union Station, actually the hotel itself is a historic site. So when you walk into the hotel, there will be things that they're not even allowed to change, like the beautiful tile floors and the vaulted ceilings that are just incredible. But you are absolutely right. The actual meeting center and area itself is much newer. And then on top of that, everything behind that with an aquarium and a Ferris wheel and all these new shops and kind of really fun family-oriented places are also there now too.
Oh, that's very cool. Very cool. So you're telling us it is family friendly?
Yes, I will be bringing my 2-year-old for sure to go play with my husband.
That reminds me of the old days of the MPA annual conference where people would bring their whole families out to the lake and it would be a whole week-long event and a vacation for the family.
Yes, and I actually heard that the aquarium, which is all connected to, so that's also nice if it's hot or raining, you don't have to leave the building itself. Now you can if it's a nice day. We'll see on Labor Day, right? But I know that the aquarium actually also has some not petting zoo, but petting fish space too. And they have stingrays. And then apparently too, there's this archway where you can see different types of sharks going over you. So hopefully it will be fun for the entire
family. This is like a saltwater kind of thing, huh? Okay, cool.
Yeah. I've actually never been. I was just told this and now I'm really clearly excited to go.
Yeah, well, that's awesome.
And there's a lot of things for families to do outside of Union Station too. So there's the St. Louis Zoo, there's the Magic House, Science Center. So there's a lot in St. Louis for it to offer.
Oh, that sounds great. So even if I can't make it to the conference every day, am I allowed to come on just one day or a partial day?
Yes, we do hope that you come for at least one day if you can't make the entire conference. And really, too, if you can only stop by to say hi to everybody, please do that, too. We'd love to see your face. And we'll maybe, don't tell anybody, but we'll sneak you into a CE if you need just, that one extra hour before that October deadline. Just come see Annie or Ashley. Don't.
I think the schools are doing some alumni events as well on Friday night, right?
So, yes. Both schools have receptions and I got to see that venue too. It's going to be really cool. There's this cool, historic hallway and then both receptions on either side. So hopefully too, UMKC will crash Still Cop and Still Cop will crash UMKC's.
What is this
mixer?
What is this golf event that you've been advertising on the web? Can you tell us about that, Ashley?
Yeah, so Top Golf is a sports entertainment complex. So if you enjoy golf, if you enjoy just kind of hitting golf balls down the runway, it is for you. But if you are not a golf person, it's still for you because you can go and connect with people. There's a lot of TVs. There's a lot of activities that you can do away from the golf area.
And if you've only ever held a golf club and hit a golf ball once in your life, like me, I'm still planning to have a great time with everybody.
Do we need to register for that event, the golf event?
Yeah, it is a separate registration.
Registration for that may be full. But again, just find your pals who are the MPA staff and we'll, sneak you into whatever we need to.
So, well, you mentioned registration. How do we get registered? Walk us through that process for the whole conference.
Yeah, so if you go to the Missouri Pharmacy Association website, which is morx.com, you can go to our events tab. Our events tab will list the 2024 annual conference, and you can find a lot of different information on there, including the agenda, CE information, that Top Golf event, and any kind of other details such as like hotel registration. But at the very bottom, you can actually do your registration for the conference itself. You have the ability to choose between a full conference registration or a single day conference registration. And then there's additional add-ons. So that Top Golf is an add-on. If you have additional people that are wanting to come to our gala, you would have to pay for an add-on for the gala as well.
I will add to that too. If you do full conference registration, the gala ticket is included.
Mhm.
But if you only do a single day, like Saturday, I hope that you will also stay for the gala because that is the event of the year.
All right, what does that mean, gala? What's that mean? Tell us what that gala means.
Great question. So we have a plated dinner. Everyone gets dressed up to their liking. So we will have people in black tie, like a tux, and then you have conference attendees who are in their comfortable clothes from the day. So it's a wide range, no judgment, whatever you feel most comfortable in. I hope you'll come in. But we celebrate our biggest and best award winners of the night. We install our new board of directors, so it will transition and into a new president year. There's always phenomenal speeches. And then also, we have a band, Crossroads, who the lead singer is a pharmacist and pharmacy owner in Missouri.
Very good. Tim, have you got your black tuxedo pressed, ready to go?
I don't have a tuxedo, but I do have a black suit, so we'll do it that way. I'll just pretend like it's a tuxedo, I guess. I did have a question for Annie. So I know you're the CPSN Missouri leader. Is there any CPSN events going on this weekend? You can talk
Great question on that too. Yes. So as you may or may not be aware, if you're a listener to the podcast, CPSN is a subsidiary under MPA. CPSN Missouri is. So we get to partner with a lot of MPA events, which is wonderful. So at our annual conference, we will not only have a CPSN booth at the trade show for people who are either in CPSN to get more information about how to get more involved or more opportunities, and then those who may not be, whether they want to join or collaborate, kind of depending on their setting and practice. And then I will add too, we have some phenomenal speakers from nationally recognized different local networks across CPSN. So we're really excited to have several CPSN leaders from different states in the national level. And then lastly, we will have our business meeting on Saturday in between the last CE education session and the gala. And that is actually closed business meeting. So CPSN is a clinically integrated network. So to not violate any antitrust laws, we do have some closed sessions where we can discuss any contracting or kind of reimbursement rates across multiple owners and entities. So we will be having those discussions in that closed business meeting on Saturday evening.
And if people want to know more information about that, do they just email you? How do they go about that?
Yeah, so there will be in the next CPSN newsletter, which should come out in the next 5 to 7 days, there will be a registration link for the business meeting specifically, just so we can kind of get a number of who's coming from the network. And then we will also allow people to come in if they just walk in too and join. And we know that we'll have a list of our network pharmacies and they'll just have to sign in. And then if they want more information and they're not in CPSN, obviously coming to the trade show and coming by the booth, I'm happy to speak with you. We'll have several luminaries, including Tim as our lead luminary. Yes. I told the luminaries this morning, you don't have to like man the booth, but I feel like you guys have the best conversations with people who have questions about CPSN. They want to
try,
not me. So
yeah, I think it really is a good thing to have peer-to-peer discussions about what CPSN is doing for me, because it doesn't look like I'm really trying to sell anything. And people are like, well, what's in it for me? Well, I can tell you what's in it for me, because the checks that we receive from CPSN Missouri or from MPA that works with that is really a big boost to pharmacies throughout the state right now, because we're involved in CPSN Missouri and health equity. Sorry, Daniel, I'm not meaning to take over the podcast here, but I think that's a really important part of it. And this networking opportunity in St. Louis is really going to be a way for you to talk to people that are in CPSN and be able to kind of learn from there where you want to go. So
I probably too would take that and say that goes for everyone at the conference, not just those interested in CPSN.
True.
I've always originally gone to conferences for maybe the education or the CE, and I've come away with so much more meeting of the minds and innovative ideas. And I leave very inspired after talking to all the different leaders across the state.
And the networking is very crucial for developing your own like pharmacy network, in the sense of gaining other experts in different fields, especially if you're like a student and just learning about the different areas of pharmacy. It's really beneficial to have those connections so you can ask questions and try to determine where you want to go with your pharmacy career.
Thank you for bringing that up, Ashley. Tell us more about that networking. Is there plenty of time between the CE sessions and between the other activities to be able to talk with people from across the state?
So in between the different CE sessions, we have about 15 minutes that we have built in for people to be able to communicate, talk. You can ask speakers questions. You can go and talk to individuals that may have been sitting at your table during the presentation. But we also have the ability for you to step out of the conference room that the sessions are taking place in and have side conversations and continue with that networking. But I'm going to go back to that trade show. That trade show is going to be extremely important because we have vendors from across the state, as well as some that are coming in from outside of the state that would be very beneficial to provide knowledge, to provide education on what services are offered in the different areas of pharmacy. Pharmacy is a really small world. You would be surprised at how many connections you would make.
Well, that's great, Ashley. Well, you talked about the trade show and the students. What about the students? That they don't need CE. Why would a student want to come to this program?
So like I was saying, even if you don't need the CE, that networking is a really key part about it. So as whenever I was a pharmacy student, I thought that I wanted to go into hospital. I didn't want to do anything else. I wanted to strictly stay in hospital pharmacy. And it wasn't until I actually started talking to other pharmacists that I started learning about other niches in the area of pharmacy. And coming to MPA, working for MPA, I have learned so much more about community pharmacy. And I have a really big drive now for understanding community pharmacy, understanding what is beneficial for them and what they're doing for their communities, that I would not have had if I had not started networking at the MPA conference.
Yeah, that's a great point. Speaking as a health system pharmacist, the conference is open to hospital, retail, community, long-term care, nuke pharmacists, consultants, PBM, manufacturers, researchers. The whole gamut of pharmacists are attracted to this kind of conference. So we're looking forward to seeing a lot of folks there.
Sorry. Go ahead, Ashley.
I was going to say also this year, we're actually going to have student posters that are going to be held in the trade show as well. That's something new that we're bringing back.
Now is that on Friday?
Mm-hmm.
During the trade show, yes.
Okay, so the conference will be Friday and Saturday, and so we have like some CE Saturday or Friday morning, and then there's a trade show from 11 to 2, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we eat lunch, and then there's more stuff the rest of the day, and then Saturday CE all day long, pretty much, and then the gala at night. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I don't know, Daniel, do you got other stuff you want to add?
What about retired people? Is there a reason a retired pharmacist might want to come to this event, Annie?
Yes. Okay. So kind of right after piggybacking off of students, right? Students also should come to the conference because the profession is what they make of it, right? So if they're not coming to the events and saying what they want the profession to be, then it's not going to be what they want when they graduate, right? And we're all going to eventually retire and they're going to be the ones taking it over. So I think if students want it to be a certain way and want to practice at the top of their education or their license or be able to do X, Y, Z, most of those things, surprisingly, you probably can do. You may have been told by someone you can't because maybe you can't bill for it or they can't pay you for it yet. yet. But I will say too, we need those students that are energized and I want to do this and I'm going to find a way to do it. And I'm going to develop the solution to overcome this barrier or challenge and change the profession for the better for my patients and the community, right? So I think coming to conference for students and getting to talk to people who are in leadership roles, or maybe a retired pharmacist who has been through the gamut of the profession as their entire career, and maybe different settings, different areas, different expertise and background. If a student gets to pick your brain, what a phenomenal opportunity to learn all of the barriers before you're even a pharmacist and say, okay, I'm going to figure out those solutions before I get there, so that on day one, I'm billing for the services I want to provide. So I think for those retired pharmacists, I hope that you had phenomenal mentors as a pharmacist throughout your career. I know pharmacy so far, that's all I've encountered is people who want to help, provide advice, give you help you along in whatever pathway you want to go. And I will say that's something that I hope to give back to students and future young pharmacists. And so I hope that retired pharmacists will also come and just share what they've learned. We want to know. So please come and share your knowledge, your expertise, be vocal and give feedback.
So Annie, give us a little teaser of what some of the speakers are going to talk about that weekend.
Yes. All right. So one of my favorites is the title itself is Pancakes and Politics. So if you don't know what we're having for breakfast, now you can guess. And it's getting that legislative update. That's kind of what drew me originally into MPA as a student, was wanting to make that change in the advocacy route. So I think students getting to hear from the boots on the ground, the lobbyists who literally live at the Capitol during session and then are going around the state when they're not to meet with those legislators and future legislators is a wonderful opportunity. And that one's not actually for CE either. So we can ask whatever questions we need to, and there's no guardrails to prevent any sort of bias.
Very good.
I think another one too that will be phenomenal and always is the Board of Pharmacy update from Kim Grinston, as well as the Missouri Health Net update with Josh Moore and Angela Wilson. So our director of pharmacy with Missouri Medicaid, Josh Moore, is wonderful. He's very innovative and always trying to move the profession forward. And so I think hearing his update and hearing from that payer side too on what barriers is he experiencing to say why I can't pay pharmacists to do more, and what can you do as a pharmacist to change that? I think that's always an area that I'm interested in as well. But really, like I said, we have phenomenal speakers. If you read their bios in the program book or beforehand, you will be amazed at all of the different people that we got to come to St. Louis this weekend.
I would like to say one that I'm really looking forward to is Randy McDonough. I really enjoy listening to Randy talk, and I think his son is speaking as well. Yes. So really looking forward to that. I think that's on Saturday. So, but yeah, I was looking at those this morning and I was like, oh, wow, this is exciting. You got a lot of good speakers. So.
Yes, and they're leaders in different spaces too, which is very cool. So either on the national stage or in different areas of pharmacy or different states, which all apply to Randy, right? He's from academia, community pharmacy, cost plus model, and then he's been on the national stage, Iowa, CPSN. So I think we hit the gamut with just one speaker right there.
Yeah, for sure.
So Annie, we can find that full list of agenda on the MPA website. Is that right?
Yes, you can.
So what about the food? You mentioned pancakes. Ashley, tell me more about food. Is there meals every day?
So we will have lunch provided on Friday and on Saturday, I believe, as well as breakfast. So breakfast on Saturday is going to be one of those buffets. And it's always a really nice spread. You have different things like pancakes. You have biscuits and gravy. We've had fruits and vegetables, muffins, bagels. It's just like the whole entire gambit. And then the lunch at the trade show is usually more of a sandwich kind of thing, like build your own sandwich. You can get as creative and crazy as you want with your different mix and matches of meats and cheeses, different types of breads, spreads on them. So it's always a really nice spread of different foods. We try to accommodate as many different palettes as we can.
Very
So
good.
really all of your meals, you'll have a meal option for everything.
So
So
if I
top
come in,
golf too, if you register, food's included. And then
okay.
hopefully you can, if you're not from a Missouri School of Pharmacy, you can claim one on Friday night at one of their receptions. And then the gala too is a plated dinner. And I will say there's one very special meal that most of us are not invited to unless we've put in a long time of leadership and blood, sweat, and tears basically into the organization. And you both can claim that title and breakfast, and that is the past president's breakfast on Saturday. So while we are eating this delicious buffet
Right
that Ashley mentioned, yes, our past presidents will also have a special breakfast to celebrate and continuously thank them for that blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah. So if there's anybody listening that's a past president, you should have received an invitation. It's always a great time to catch up with other presidents from the past, and I guess the future, or the new one is usually invited as well, and give an opportunity to kind of share, what they've experienced in their time as president and through the service on the board. So.
And actually, when I was a student on rotation at MPA a decade ago, it was during our annual conference, and I got to crash the past president's breakfast.
Cool.
And I remember everyone ran around and said what year they were president and obviously their name and kind of an introduction, which most of them knew each other. And then Ron said, "Okay, Annie, your turn." And I was like, "Well, I'm Annie Eisenbeis. I'm a P4 at Stillcop, and I'm hoping to be future president." And I sat down. So I guess 10 years in, I'm not quite there, but bucket list.
Well, you're doing well.
So Ashley, you're telling me if I go to the golf event on Thursday, I can get some hors d'oeuvres there. When I go to the trade show on Friday, I get lunch. Friday night, I can go to my alumni school appetizer and beverage dinner. Then Saturday morning, we'll have pancakes. Saturday noon, we'll have lunch with a smorgasbord of sandwich meat. And then we can attend the gala Saturday night. That sounds like a full meal deal right there.
Oh, yeah.
And there's snacks in there too.
Mm-hmm.
And snacks. So, all right, we'll talk about the snacks. So if I'm coming with my family, can my family crash any of those social activities?
So some of them would require like an extra ticket, like the gala and then the trade show lunch. As far as the snacks, I think it kind of depends on how exciting they are. I've actually seen the spread of one of them. So it's like a major league sports snack. So I'm actually thinking that one's going to go fast. So if you do invite your family, they might not make it in time before it's all gone.
Well, very good. This sounds like it's going to be a great weekend, not only to get together and pick up some CE, but to do some networking, to have the opportunity to see the students of pharmacy. That's the next generation. Ashley, is there anything else that you should add to this before we end today?
The only thing I can say is whether you're coming for the CE, whether you're coming for the networking, we just hope that you come, you enjoy your time, and that we get to see you there.
Very good. Annie, any last words from your advice?
I will just say, if this is your first conference, please don't make it your last.
Yes.
Love it.
All right, Tim, we'll give you the final word and then we'll exit for today. Thank you for joining us on the Pharmacy Frontier podcast.
I just appreciate the opportunity to chat with you guys today. And Daniel, you did a great job hosting today. I think it's excellent opportunity to get the word out about the conference. And if you're not signed up, I think it's important that you do that. If you have questions, don't hesitate to call the office. I'm sure they'll be glad to take any questions you might have and been able to run forward. So, Daniel, you want to close us out or roll from there?
Well, on behalf of the Missouri Pharmacy Association, thank you for joining us for another episode of the Pharmacy Frontiers podcast. We look forward to seeing you in St. Louis for the 2024 annual MPA Conference and Trade Show.